Well, can you see my capsack okay? So, I'm Mike. I'm going to walk through setting up my Facebook ads for my Crystal Beach property. So basically, I've been running Facebook ads for about 6 weeks or something of the sorts. I've gone through 3 iterations of the ads, starting off with a what I call a spaghetti test. Essentially, just throw a bunch of stuff at the wall and see what kind of sticks. So essentially what it is you just try a bunch of different images, so about 10 images. You have 5 lines of text that are going to be the head main thing people see. It's called primary text. It's what people will usually see when they're posting on Facebook. Then on the very bottom, you'll see like a gray bar and it has a black text in it. That's called the headline. And right below that black text is something called the description. So each of these text fields, you can add some sort of text in there, which I find helpful for especially like calls to action or helping people who really want to click on book now and then ultimately get into my my actual Airbnb listing or my verbal listing of whichever one I'm promoting at the time, or as I'm working on a direct listing site right now, it'll eventually have both on there and people will be tracked easier with a Facebook pixel that I'll embed into my own direct booking site that then will branch to the other booking sites. So essentially I will see where people are clicking through and I can get more data from all of the internet activity, and also through the Facebook pixel I can then track all those people's web activity and then help understand what type of person that is in terms of economic expenditure, all these different factors of social economic data points that get tracked from marketing from Facebook's level. So with Meta and Facebook, they have a lot of information about us with Facebook pixels and also the web browsing cookies that happen out there. They know everything you spend and what you do online. So ultimately, why not make the most of that and help identify some of the true demographic that you should be targeting for your marketing. That being said, one really important thing to pay attention to in Facebook marketing for short-term real estate, you have to ensure that you're following the real estate marketing guidelines as well, which ultimately is like a rental or some sort of advertisement for property to be rented or purchased. You need to ensure that you're following the guidelines brought down from the federal government. You can't, discriminate against anybody. So essentially, you have to ensure that everyone who's 18 and above gets exposed to your ad. You cannot limit the age range to anyone, although I want to limit it to 25 and above. But there's ways that you can kind of trigger that 25 and above person, and it's usually with some of the content you use. But ultimately, you have to ensure that you're not discriminated against race, gender, any of that. So any of the discriminatory classes out there or classifications of anyone who could be discriminated against, you want to ensure that you're not doing so with any of the ads you're making. Same with like credit or employment stuff. So it's called a special category. So as we go through, I'll show you that I've already had that stuff selected, but actually, I'll build a whole straight from the scratch. Usually what I do is I take my existing content ad run, and then I duplicate it or add into that, so I then build another iteration into it. I'll show you what I'm looking at and kind of like walk through a little bit of it, but really I'll mostly build a new one with the information that I see in there. So I'll just kind of show you what I see, take a look at what I find interesting, and I'll talk through those elements. Now I haven't been running my screen record at all from this time, so essentially I'm gonna now, let me just clear all these. All right, so what I wanted to show here is we have this Sandy Seahorse summer vacation, blah, 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 1,489 clicks out of a reach of 20,000 with really impressions of 31,000. So reach and impressions, the interesting thing, like if you look over reach, it says the number of people who saw your ad at least once. Reach is different from impressions, which may include multiple views of your ad by the same people. So reach is essentially like, okay, these people glanced at your ad. Essentially, they know that they at least had 20,772 people look at this ad at some point. It was on their screen. Impressions, and so this is the number of times ads were on screen, means that the ad is actually generated multiple times for some people, and it is then able to help trigger a click, but it identifies these people based on obviously their past click rates and different factors of how long they stare at or look at, or if they interact with your ad at all. There's lots of factors. Ultimately, we don't really know all of them. If I scroll over here, you'll see it basically says 7 cents per click, $104.70 is what we spent. And then over here we have frequency is 1.53. So that 1.53 means that out of all of those people, that 20,000 unique individual people, it was shown 1.53 on average times to get the other people to click on it out of the 31,811 times it was shown. And so the impressions, again, is the amount of times the ad was shown in general. The reach is the number of people it was shown in, actually, too. So we have then results of 20,000, and out of that, almost 1,500. So if I look at my calculator, and we look 20,000, wait, 772, divide that by 1489. Okay, so roughly 13.95, so 14% essentially are converting over to clicks. So we usually see like up to 20% people who are shown something then actually click. In digital marketing spaces, it's all been different because of the pandemic, so that's not necessarily anything to worry too much about. But 13%, it means that there's not necessarily enough people clicking for me to feel like the ad structure or setup is doing the right job, so we're going to change that as well. But let me show you what it looks like inside the ad. So the ad demographics platform, right? So this is like, okay, we'll look at this. We have 2,559 link clicks. Performance overview of this entire summer vacation thing. I click on the March one. Oh, this is the same one, so I have it under the same piece. Only real information here that I enjoy looking at is demographics. So you can see that we have a spike in the demographic of women who are 35 to 44, which it has almost 356 of them. So it's 14% of the actual age bracket is women who are 35 to 44. Then another 14% is women who are 45 to 54. And then another 26% is women who are 55 to 64. And then the remaining 32%, not remaining out of all of it because there's still the men, which make up for 10%, but women make up for 89% overall. You can see this at the bottom here, 89%, but at least 32% come from ages 65 up. And so this is showing on Facebook platforms that ultimately a lot of the people who are the boomer generation and above are adopting that marketplace, and obviously seeing less and less younger people because they're all moving off to TikTok. But that is all fine and dandy. You can see then advanced previews will show you more of what the ads look like. So this is essentially what I've been running right now. I've been running a multitude of carousel ads. Carousel gives people an option so where they can see, at least scroll over and see some of the things. You can change this to see some of the text that we've identified as winning text. So it's like, boom, luxury beachfront vacation spot did not do as well as I thought it would. The top performers will see those in a moment, but they're actually more like Crystal Beach Vacation or Vacation in Crystal Beach. Actually, this one with the check boxes did really well too. It's weird. I'll show you that stuff as well. So we'll close out of this guy and then we'll go in. So this section is campaigns. This middle section is ad sets. And then this is ads. So when we go to ads, we can click breakdown. You can look up at the dynamic event. And so the image or video slideshow of which one is successful. I have to click on this thing to, again, go away. All right, so let's sort it by results. And we then can see, I'll take a screenshot of this. The campaign stuff that you end up really paying attention to, like this image, is the top performer for this ad run. This image is the second performer with 377 clicks, and then this one is the third one, which has my garbage cans in it, so I don't know about that one. Then I look at this one, and I'm like, this is my favorite. It's like the fourth performing ad, and it's 146 clicks. So the ones that are really, really low, like these guys down here, and in fact, like it's like this guy's the least performing one. I thought that would do something, but it's the family one. I will kick this ad image from my ad. It will not be in there anymore. Then let's see, this guy, also second least performer, didn't do well. This one did not do well. It's too busy. I made this for Instagram, so obviously it's just too much for people. It's like an ad. They're like, no, I don't click it. And then this one, which is actually odd because this one did so well before, but I think I've got a better picture of this house as it's going to the beach. I need to make sure that I, don't cut this guy out completely. But either way, that's at least giving us an idea of what that looks like. Now, if we change it to the website URL, it doesn't change anything. I just have one. I sent this all to my link tree. So then from my link tree, they can go to Airbnb Vrbo. I did not really see too many links, clicks on Vrbo. Now, check this out. So here's the ad, here's the results, here's the reach, impressions, cost per amount spent, all that stuff. I spent about $100. So I did find that Crystal Beach Vacation, number one with 500 clicks. Text, the beach front, look at this, it's got all this like, all the emojis, people love that. So that's a 428, so I'm definitely going to keep that tactic. And then Vacation in Crystal Beach, I love that, 366, that's absolutely going to be something I have to keep. It definitely is a winning combination, all these. I'm going to drop this 5-star stays at the Sandy Seahorse in Crystal Beach. I wanted to see what branding would do. And at least this amount of people clicked on it for branding, and I think that's cool because that'll be something that resonates with them. And if they clicked on it or liked it, then I can send them things to invite them to the page. So that's something that we can go through later too. And then Luxury Beach front vacation spot did not do well. And actually, I tried other type of text in this section, and family friendly is very popular win actually. So now we go to the headline, which is the black text in the ad itself near the bottom. So I put family friendly here, did the best 485, 5-star stays, did the second best 273, luxury stays still did well, oceanfront beach access, Crystal Beach Vacation. Now all of these actually doing really decently with like in the 200s range. Tells me that they're getting enough clicks that ultimately for those people, those subsets of people, it worked, and ultimately that is the triggering word for what those guys are. And so these are all winning ad headlines. Now I'll even change these to use as the primary text to switch them around and then see what works, because like 20,000 people saw this ad. Ultimately out of the 20,000 people, 1,500 clicked. So when we're looking at the real kind of range, a lot of people did see some of this stuff. And then kind of going down, I have the description, which this is the thing right below. This is way too long. This text is extraordinarily long. The only one that actually fits is the Sandy Seahorse. They just see like a ... like we just see here. It's all trailed off. Actually, I think it gets cut like that. So this is how much actual space you see. And this is what the full thing says. Like, it was insane. I was like, I'm rotating these from previously using them as primary text, but ultimately I didn't change too much or do much thinking about it. I just rotated them through. Discover, which I usually love the word discover. It usually performs very well. It's the least performing one. And people are just kind of seeing these briefly, and they're just kind of like, not necessarily engaging with the text there. They might not really read it. It might be just subconsciously reading it. But new vacation rental works out, Crystal Beach. Look at the Great Getaway. So looking for maybe worked, and spend your summer. Maybe it was summer. So ultimately those ones, definitely summer was triggering because 609 people clicked on that. That's pretty rad. And out of that, 12,000. So you can do the math on that again toward, say, have a calculator. So we can do 609 divided by 12, 524. Okay, so it's about like 4%. So I mean, that's out of the people who click, 4% is actually pretty good. It's 4.8%. So when we think about ultimately out of the 20% who click on your ad, of those people, meaning that is a new 100% rate, only 4% of those then click on it. That's essentially kind of like the daisy chain of how that looks. It's still exciting, and it's good information to have so that way you can go through it. And then call to action, I really didn't have too much for call to action. This is just, book now did the best, learn more did the worst, 187. So I'll probably just put book now on everything going forward, so that way book now is the trigger call to action word that will ultimately help them want to book it, and they'll see that on a button right there on Facebook or on most of the interfaces. All right, so let's actually create a whole new thing here real quick. Over on the left hand side, actually creating a whole new campaign wouldn't be good. We're just going to create a new campaign in here. So the ad set, I usually in ad set what month I make it in. You can do whatever you want. What this tells you is if you're creating an ad set, like I want to have specific ads geared towards summertime, right? So this is under the Sandy Seahorse summer vacation campaign. I'll have a different campaign for the fall and all those things, because I like to chunk them by campaign. But in the ad set, you can make multiple ones as well, and then obviously have at it with this. And then in there, then you create an ad, which ultimately will be the new thing. So I'm going to say this, all of Texas ads. Oof, that's my plan this go. So I've been playing around with certain demographics, certain areas, regions, whatever. And so I'll be going through and building out this ad campaign with a website. I want to go there. I want to turn dynamic creative on. So this thing, dynamic creative, it'll make it so that way we get more data, just like what we looked at, how it showed all the little breakdowns of what people were clicking on. It helps me understand what words are helpful, and then those words can then fill out the Airbnb or verbal listings, so that way they just make it a lot easier to understand. Okay, so on here, audience stuff, you really can't mess with too much. 18 to 65. This special housing over here in the upper right hand corner, it's already selected. See, I've already had that for my campaign. It's at the campaign level. You need to ensure that that is on there, otherwise you will get rejected, and your ads being rejected can make it hard for you to get more ads approved later on. I have had many of ad counts and ads rejected automatically through the algorithm, and had to appeal the process, and have always had them turned back on, but it takes like a couple days. But it's kind of a thrill if you're really into that stuff. All right, so I want Texas. Texas, Texas, Texas. Boom. Now, most of Texas for me actually has been really successful in this region over here, the southeast portion of Texas, which is where Houston is. And that's where Crystal Beach is. So Crystal Beach is like about 50% of the incoming population that vacations in Crystal Beach comes from 300 miles from the area, or 300 miles distance from the area. But I'm going to just have all of Texas, this one, and it's going to tell me different regions in Texas that have successful target demographic for who is looking for rental like my rental. And obviously you can't do any detailed targeting too much. Last time I checked this thing, it was broken. But if I want to go and browse, look, it has interests. You can say accounting. That's really fun. Advertising. Now, apartments.com, that would be people who rent, and I don't necessarily think that the demographic who's going to rent my Airbnb is going to be a renter. So I kind of avoid those things. If I look at any kind of words that might be helpful for people who are, say, business travelers, then also, let's see, cottage, people who like cottages. So people who like cottages, essentially the ones who can vacation to a cottage, that kind of cottage is in there. There is property, description like vacation rental in here, but it's of course alphabetical. Obviously we'll get there eventually. But just kind of going through this whole list, it's a huge list, right? And so there's obviously like entertainment, entrepreneurship. So entrepreneurs, I mean, obviously they make good money, but aren't necessarily doing the, any kind of thing. But you also run the risk of exposing to the wrong crowd. I'm going to try it this time because I've excluded it beforehand, but I want to make it for entrepreneurs of all of Texas. And so people who are interested in entrepreneurship are going to be caught within my targeting demographic net. Now, people who have a financial plan, those are people who also definitely might be in my demographic. So my demographic, as we saw earlier, was like women from 35 on up, and the largest chunk of that, 32% of that, was from the 65 and up range, which means they would have a financial plan and not necessarily be a first-time buyer. But I do like actually using some of the real estate targeting demographic items for this kind of stuff too. I've been doing real estate marketing for too long, and it's just so here's a holiday cottage. I've been doing real estate marketing for too long, so it's ultimately like it's a safety thing for me where I'm like, well, I know that if I market to these people, because I've learned, I've spent years learning how some of these things on Facebook ads work with, especially when it comes to people who are purchasing large homes or like over $500,000, which is not really that much nowadays, I guess, but well. All right, so we'll just keep going on this guy. Just want to make sure that we've got everything in here. I'll end up getting the investment management, investment strategy. Those people, they have money. Investment. So now I'm expanding to a lot of people. Now you can see over here on the right hand side, it says 12 million to 14 million people are essentially in those areas. That's definitely going to be a large group of people to expose us to. And I'm not going to pay that much. I'm really going to pay like for a few thousand people to get exposed that a day. So it's going to just work through on a daily basis at like $10 or $15 a day. Now mortgage loans, all those things, maybe, but I don't want to really go for that area. People who are into philanthropy are oftentimes, fans of it. So it's not necessarily that the people who are philanthropists are actually on Facebook. They have their people doing their Facebooks usually. Private equity, yeah, you could look at some of these things from an agent. It's real estate stuff. So there are some. If you're looking for Property Finder, that might be a thing where people are looking for just real estate and get exposed to the ad. You'll be charged for them to look at it, where they just wanted to look at, say, actual property to purchase instead of property to rent short term. That is a tricky aspect. So real estate investing, that's a fun thing. Obviously, the real estate investors out there, we all know the game, and it is something that can help. I'm not going to choose it on this one because I have some of the other ones. Like I'm trying to test this one with the entrepreneurship. Like you can do reverse mortgage. So people who have interest in reverse mortgage, those are people in the demographic that I'd be looking for. So that is something that those are going to be factors. And then I do want to add vacation rental. See, it's not working on the drop down, but man, it is working gangbusters there. Vacation rental. All right, so sometimes it works and you can type it in. Hasn't worked in weeks for me, so I don't know. It's one of those things. People who have interest in timeshares. That's also another area that you could, target. It might be a sore subject, so maybe not for me on this one. But I mean, you can try that. It sounds like a good idea. People like swimming pools, only if you had a swimming pool. I don't have the swimming pool, so I'm not going to put that in there. I mean, we have Joshua Tree property that has like a cowboy pool, and the cowboy pool I think is really cool, but it's not really anything that I'm, going to put. We have water features. Once we have something cool, we can really talk about. All right, so that's really all the things on there. So essentially, like I've just grabbed business travel, cottage, entrepreneurship, financial plan, holiday cottage, investment strategy, reverse mortgage, and vacation rental. These are all the detailed targeting that I'm going to go for narrowing my search of people. Now I have 12 million, 14.4 million essential people. This is a specific, fairly broad topic, they say. Yeah, that makes sense, but it's okay. We're going to keep it on placements, automatic placements, optimized delivery, all that stuff sounds groovy. Never just go down here and hit publish. You actually have to go over here to the left side to then click into all the ads. This is where you can actually end this no website field. I am going to do directly to my Airbnb because that is legitimately what is working. Airbnb. All right, good. Okay, so I am going to actually make this go to directly to my Airbnb. So let's show what's up. Website URL. First and foremost, there's an error up here. It says review the ad. Good, we got that URL in there. HTTPS. PS means it's secure. It's, people like that stuff. All right, we're not going to choose the carousel. We already tried that guy. I'll have more data from the carousel, but essentially it gave us at least which images we should use and which images we should not use. So, now, this guy, this guy, this guy, maybe I'll choose the master bedroom this time. People like to hang out, have the master bedroom stuff. Well, this guy did well. This guy will do great, maybe. I love that one still. Family friendly with the bunk beds. Washer and dryer in place. And we'll see what the people think about pet friendly. I'm gonna try and promote that. See what happens. And then, wait, the bedroom. I really want to do the bedroom. Master bedroom. Alright, cool. So I will at least have a few different locations. I love it. Beachfront, baby. So yeah, I mean, I think the honest truth is when you have a beachfront thing, it works. We could leave this text in here. The bottom text is auto-populated because of the Airbnb stuff. So if we leave that on there, but we won't have control over what it is and if people say it. So I think that what we see there right now, it says new luxury beachfront, sleeps 10 linens, all that. It's coming from the Airbnb. So we know it's coming from here. We'll copy this guy. Easy peasy, right? We'll go back to our ads manager. Now we see all the images, they look good, they look good. I'm gonna be interested to see what happens. Primary text, let's boom, pop it in there. So we're gonna see what that looks like for people. We're gonna, you know, whether or not they enjoy it, want it, all that stuff. I will put it in the headline, and I will put it in the description. And so you can see, just adds up a bunch of the stuff. Now, if there's other images that we can see it on, this just shows you some of the. This is like on the side when people see their scroll. There's a little on the side of the page. It could be like a web page, wherever. So this is the Facebook right column. So on the Facebook right hand side, this is how the image and ad will show up. They'll just be boom right there. So that's the amount of text that you have available. So luxury family friendly beachfront. And then they have to click on it to see how many it sleeps. That's actually kind of cool. Maybe that might be helpful. This is what the normal feed will look like on people's phones, though. So at least that's one option. Then I like to add more options. So for primary text, I know that Crystal Beach does a great job. And actually, if we go back to over here, well, I know it's vacation in Crystal Beach. An option. Beach front vacation spot in Crystal Beach. You know, I almost spell crystal sometimes correctly, and then I always like midway I spell incorrectly, and I'm like, wait, no, so it's almost. Visit Crystal Beach, because really I'm trying to help people come to Crystal Beach. Like choose this vacation spot over the other vacation spots you're interested in. And then we'll do 360 full view of the Gulf Beach front full view of the Gulf. All right, so look, we just have a few different variations matching the Airbnb. We'll see how that performs. In fact, I think it's fun. Yep, we're gonna go with it. And then for headline, this is where, you know, I like the whole vacation with your family. Bring the family. Family friendly. Another one, pet friendly. See what happens with that. I don't know. Headlines are just right here below the thing, so it might be a thing that'll happen. Alright, the description, it's only really like a few characters, so you shouldn't like overwhelm it too much, and honestly it's like, how I would say, you know, beachfront, ocean access. And then, you know, we provide towels. Okay, yep, we got it. Make your reservation now. Yep. Make sure you don't miss out. So I don't like putting don't miss out, but I'm gonna try it. I don't like it, but I'm gonna see what happens. Okay, so the display link is gonna go to, nope, oops, wrong. Display link is gonna be this. Booking, book now. And this is if you had a ability to track what their click goes to. So if you have a website that you can put a pixel on it, this is where it's at. I don't have one of those. It's okay. Okay, it's good. Looks awesome. I feel like it's going to be excellent. I'm just going to go ahead and publish it. Yeah, see what happens. But at least for where I'm at, I've gone through 3 or 4 iterations of ultimately identifying pictures, common text that has benefit triggering people to click, and the arrangement of those texts I'm still kind of playing with. So, I'm still also playing with the pictures. You have so many good pictures of your property. This is a great way in which you can tell what people resonate with. But anyways. Alright, that's taking a look at setting up an ad. It might look different on what you have. I don't know. Facebook always changes their ads environment, but I mean, it might look the same. Let me know if you need any help. Again, my name is Mike. I run a company called Better Than Awesome, and I do digital marketing for video games often. And I've been doing real estate marketing for, I guess, since 2015. And I've really enjoyed helping people find properties that they can live in. And as I've gotten into this short-term real estate game, I also really enjoy helping people find the properties that can help make them some income. So anything that can help people make some money, I know will help me make money. And ultimately, if there's things that I can do to help you out with this, questions you have, I'm happy to do so. Hit me up. I'll put my contact information somewhere. This is wild. Talk to you later.
They surely will have found you. The amazing things you see.